more Wednesday. Thank you for another day's journey, Lord God. We just give you the glory. We ask that you bless those who are yet coming, that you will see them here safely, and that you'll be glorified throughout the entire lesson, and what is going to be poured into us and what is going to be taught. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, just like every week, looking for takeaways for last Wednesday's lesson, or any takeaways that you might have. I know me personally, I had a couple of important takeaways that I come away with and that I find very important. My personal walk is what's been poured into me is for me to transfer to others, and I had a chance to do some of that today at the gym. And I'm grateful that we've been poured in. I've been poured in a lot. I'm speaking for myself here at Fresh Start Bible Church under the leadership of the Shepherd, Dr. Petty, and I've been passing a lot on. But today in particular was glorifying to God because a person is going through some tough circumstances with their drug addicting child stealing from them and all that, and they raising his kids, the grandparents, and I was just kind of ministering to the person, and I told them what I've learned here at Fresh Start, that only thing we can do really is to do whatever we can, humanly possible, whatever they may look like. And God has to kick in with the supernatural to get us through to the other side. And they found that very illuminating and helpful. So I thank God for that, because I got that from here. And again, last Wednesday about our being mentored and mentorship, and we can come to a place where we've been poured into a lot, and we can become equal to our peers to the point where we have to make a decision where just how much longer that we could stand into a place of complacency when we know that God has took us further and we have reached a place in our spiritual walk there. Our peers are no longer more advanced, but we had caught up to them from a spiritual standpoint, and at that point we have to make a decision of what to do from there, where we go from there, and I can relate to that. So I thank God for that illumination. Anybody else have any takeaways?
Well, one thing for sure, a mentor has to be poured into. And if you do have somebody mentoring, you don't want them to be stalemated, where they're no longer growing, because eventually that will mean you're not growing, or you may become their equal. And so the decision, one thing we talked about was knowing yourself when you've gotten to a point where you need to turn your mentee over to somebody else. We talked about that. And you don't always want to be around familiarity, because that stunts growth. Being around people who are more or less the same as you. A lot of times our immediate circle, a lot of times they're just like us. A lot of times we got the same income, the same interests, and we're just really going around in circles talking to each other about the same stuff. And so sometimes you have to find yourself get into a new group of people. And similar, just like being in church. We can't just come fellowship with each other every Sunday and spread the word to each other. We need to go outside the church and do some things, and that'll expose you to this opens up your horizon to learning, having discussions with people that you may not have had discussions with before. I have been finding myself talking to people I don't know. I mean, a whole lot that's been happening, and it's enlightening. Just making sure I stay out of debates. I like to debate, but I don't debate the word. That's where I draw the line. I can do the football, I can do the basketball, I can do all those other things, but when it comes to the word, I just got to keep growing. I can't be stagnated and by irrelevant conversations and that I'm not getting nothing out of. So, and I think that has a lot to do with me being mentored and taking everything in so that when I am talking, I can talk intelligent. Because this word is just our whole walk is nothing to play with. Nothing to play with. Even when you're silent, your facial expressions, how you respond to stuff, all this stuff is becoming more and more relevant. The example that you're setting before your family. I know, Roland, you talk about that a lot of times. You're concerned about the family if they're saved and things like that. But we just got to continue to show them the light at all times. So I have been taking this, and that's why I'm glad that we had another opportunity for another lesson tonight so that we can be strong when we up here teaching.
Amen. Anybody else? Anybody else? Any takeaways? Okay.
Good evening.
Let me emphasize tonight to start with. So if you could put Deuteronomy 6:4-9 up. So Karen, if you could get that, we're going to take a look at that. And Deuteronomy chapter 6 verses 4-9. What we want to emphasize tonight is about note taking and a way to do it where it's going to have some value and how you can take some things and begin to do some things with it. And the Lord has kind of shown us this process. It's all spelled out. And, if we were being interviewed to be witnesses to something that had occurred, I'm not sure if we do the best job of telling that. They probably would throw us out as witnesses on the cross-examination in terms of was what said accurate to what actually happened, and would somebody else come back and say the same thing? I'm just kind of wondering how many of us would say the same thing after having heard the same thing, and would it come out to be different? All right, just like what I just said now. What did y'all just hear me just say? Now, we testing this out right now. What did y'all just hear me just say?
Would we be good witnesses in a court of law?
And I qualified it. All right, so I qualified what makes it that and what does not.
So
let's just see what did you all hear me say? Let's see how many different ways this comes out. What did y'all hear me say?
Will we be good witnesses and tell the same story?
Okay, anything else?
Would it be the exact same as you heard somebody say it, or would it be different?
Okay, you were about to say?
I'm about to say the same thing, but anyway, when we tell the story of what we got out of the lesson.
No, listen to what did you just hear me say?
What did you say? You said.
You're right. What did you all just hear me say?
Would we say the same thing?
Okay.
What we heard.
And then how could we know? That was something very critical that I said. I'm gonna see if you all got it, but keep going. As to how we could prove it. I love it. Okay, let me just kind of tell you what it was. Under cross-examination, would it still stand? Now do you all remember me saying that? I said, if under cross-examination, would this story still stand? Because that's how you determine whether you're a bona fide witness or not. Because they're going to go at you to try to cause you to question what you said and to get you to change it. And that's why you have to ask, would under cross-examination, when people start questioning what you say, would the message still stay the same? When somebody's not accepting it, basically it's like when somebody's not accepting what you say and they're questioning and they're challenging it, does it change what you say, or do you lose your composure? It's all of that determines whether you're a valid witness or not. Because the goal of cross-examination is to rattle you for you to change your story. So you really change it. And so it becomes a matter of, if 5 of us showed up and we heard something and somebody went to all 5 of us, could they get the same theme from the same people who were in the same place at the same time hearing the same thing? Would they get multiple messages from the people? That's the that's the reality of what this is. So all right, so let's kind of walk through this about the note-taking thing. Okay. So Karen, why don't you come in and read this, start at verse 4, and we're going to pick it up from here.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Keep going.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might.
Now that's repeated in Matthew chapter 22. Jesus is telling, so what are the greatest commandments? Matthew 22, 36 through 40. And this is what he quotes. Go back to verse 5. This is what he quotes. It's right here in Matthew 22, 36 through 40. Teacher, what are the greatest commandment? And he goes on to say, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and then, and your neighbor as yourself. And says, on these 2 hang the whole law and the prophets. That was a picture of Jesus saying, I didn't come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. So he was quoting this. This is what he was quoting. Okay, keep going. Now we go to verse 6.
And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart.
Now, what is he saying? They should be where? Inside of you, not just in your head. Because your head, you can repeat stuff. In your heart means practicing. It's in you. It's a part of you. It's a part of you. Okay, now verse 6 now. Then he says, this is what I want you to do. He says, these words which I'm telling you, you should be taking them in and making a difference. Now listen to verse 7.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy
All right,
children.
you notice that one? It says you need to make sure anybody connected, you know it. Now, when is teaching making sure you get it, or is it telling? There's a difference between being a teacher and a teller. Now, but you can tell somebody something all day. There cannot be any real teaching or instruction without there being some dialogue going back and forth. Now, you notice how much I'm always asking you all back and forth about this or that. Okay, tell me this, tell me that. And in order to make sure before we add one thing to what we already have, otherwise, if you didn't get that part, then you can't get the next part. You miss part 1, you cannot possibly get part 2. Isn't that about right, Miss Tracy? Since you've been in the classroom for a couple of days? Okay. That would be it. So notice, what's the second thing?
And shall talk of them when thou sittest in thy house.
You notice? So your conversation. Yeah, I think what is the conversation? How much is it? What dialogue? What do you find yourself talking about the most? You notice what this is saying now. He's saying this is how you get it. This is how you take notes. This is how you get it to make it a part of you. It's embedded. It's all about what you're doing. Notice. So even if you don't have children, you're teaching somebody. Children doesn't necessarily mean children. That means babes in Christ, people new to the faith. They're children. It still is all the same thing. What are you communicating to people? What are you communicating to them? Is it being communicated in a way that they can understand it, or are you communicating in a way that they should know it? Then tell me the difference between those two things. You find yourself talking to people about things that happen in church like they should know it, or do you talk about it in a way that they can understand it? There's a distinct difference between the two. So just let's kind of wrestle through this, because the easy, most common thing that we do is we say it like they know it.
Right. You can't assume that they know it, so you have to teach it to them, and for the purpose of them to understand it. Because
all right, so let's make this practical. All right. So we started out today saying, what did we learn last week? What did we learn on Sunday? How do we transfer that to somebody? Let's talk through this.
What are the takeaways we transfer?
And how
what did you
How do we say it? We should be able to say it as though they were here. When we communicate it properly, they should understand it as though they were physically here because of how you clearly communicated it. And if we're not doing that, can we really say they understand what we're saying? It should be as though when you finish telling them, they should understand it like they were sitting in the same place where you were. Let's keep walking through this. What are some of the things that you say? This is for all of us. What are some of the things you say? We have a great experience at church. We learned some things, and how do we go about talking about it? I'm this conversation. Just remember, I'm practicing what I'm saying to you. I'm asking to see if you know before we go past this. Okay. Before you get to tell them how you apply it to their life, what are you telling them? No, we want to make sure we hear this. Okay. Give an example. Give an example.
Like, for example, we were talking about your mentee and how they pour into you. And then at some point, you'll find yourself that you and your mentee are on the same level.
All right, explain that.
And what that means is they have nothing else to give you to help you to grow. So that's when it's time for you to make a shift and to find someone else on another level that can pour into you.
All right, okay. All right. Do you all understand what she just said? But would you understand that if you didn't already know it? Okay, just listen very carefully to what I'm asking you. If you were not aware of what was communicated, would you fully know what she's saying?
No, especially someone that doesn't know Christ.
Okay, so now you're understanding what I mean. How do you transfer that in such a way that says, here's what I learned today. And how I learned this, let me tell you how this is helpful. So how do you go? That's what this is all about. Otherwise, we have these general ways that information is going out that still doesn't connect. Whereas we're the beneficiary, but it doesn't really benefit anybody else. All right, that's why we're focusing on it. All right, we got to work through this. What do you learn? How do you tell it? In fact, we're commanded to do it. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. That which you've learned, teach it to somebody else so they can teach it to somebody else. But if we didn't communicate it clear to the first person, can they possibly communicate it clearly to another person?
Okay, like the example I gave when I first was up there about the person I saw at the gym. They when I told it to them in a practical way, and they understood. They said, "Wow, you know what? That's something." I just told them exactly the way it was poured into me. When we come up against difficult circumstances and situations, and we get overwhelmed, I've learned by faith to do everything humanly possible on my end and trust in God by faith that He'll do whatever it is supernatural that He would do to get me through this circumstance. And
I want
they
you to
understood it.
Now, I'm glad they understood it, but that's a lot to work through.
No, it is. Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, you all heard what he just said? That's a lot to work through. How do you work through everything he just said? Somebody tell me, what did he just say? He's begging him now. Tell me, what did he just say? It's a lot to work through. Now, did you hear him say that? No, that's not what I asked you. Did you hear him say that? So you didn't hear him say that, right? Now, do you understand what I mean? Now, he was trying to help you out. Okay. Tell us what he really said. Give him like now. Tell him all that he said. So then that way.
All that he said, I don't know all that he said, but I can say in a nutshell what I got.
No. Okay. All right. Probably not. But let's. Okay. Try it again. Try to say it all over
Okay.
again. Okay.
I told this person at the gym what I've learned here. They was experiencing some circumstances that were very challenging to them, and they were being overwhelmed. And I told them, well, this is what I have learned in my walk, that when circumstances get like that and overwhelming, what I've learned to do is just do everything humanly possible on my end. In other words, whatever I can control.
Now you know you're adding from what you
Yeah, I
said
am
first.
adding.
Okay. So
Okay.
now you see what I mean. But keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
And I told him what I've learned to do is just do everything humanly possible that I can. And by faith, allow God to do whatever he's going to do from a supernatural standpoint to get me through this circumstance.
That's why I say it's a lot to work through. And the reason why it's a lot to work through, first of all, do you know that the person that you talk to is a person of faith? There are a lot of people who are people of faith who are as dumb as a rock. I'm just saying, still just dumb as a rock. And so how do you know that? Because 1 Corinthians chapter 3 says that. So I'm only giving that as an example about how we need to lock in. So we're going to get through this, and then we're going to work our way down about how we can be more precise about what we say. All right, let's just keep going. All right, so we should be talking. We should be making sure that somebody we have an ongoing dialogue with to make sure we get it. Because literally repetition in most cases is the key to getting an understanding of something. It's the repetition. It's repetition. You keep going. Now let's notice what else is coming up here. Okay, so something else.
And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou rise up.
So is there ever a point in time in which you should not be interacting and having conversation about how to implement? Because it says this is down in your heart. So our conversation is dominated by what's in our heart. In spite of where it begins, what's going to keep coming out in your response of communication is what's in your heart. In spite of how awful, how foul somebody else might be, it does not change what's in your heart. And when you get a chance to go back and read Matthew chapter 15, it says, out of the heart flows everything. Proverbs 4:23 and 24 says, guard your heart, because out of it flows the issues of life. Guard it. In other words, if you don't, you'll hear stuff, you'll hear these sounds, you hear these conversations, you'll be influenced by what people say. Because once it gets inside, what's dominated is going to take it there. And then we're going to give an example about what that needs to look like. But go on.
And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes.
Now, Larry's just saying, for us, Post-it notes, stick things up, remind yourself, bathroom mirror. You constantly reminding yourself, I need to not forget this. I need to not forget this. I need to be conscious of this. Saying it while you're walking, saying it while you're talking to somebody else. And then finally, verse 9.
And thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house and on thy gates.
So does it seem like there's anywhere or any part of your life he's telling you that you should not be doing this? Now do you understand what I said? This is the difference between our language and how we go about doing it. So let me stop and see if there's anything you need to ask me before I show you something else. Because we're going to spend the rest of the time, I'm going to explain the difference about this whole piece of mentors, mentorees, mentees, and then have one other graphic to show you to be able to do that. So anything you all need to ask me before we proceed with that?
I had a question about your relationship with the person you're talking to and the level that they're on.
Okay, that's when we're going to get into that. All right, we're going to get into that. But go on with your question. I'm going to explain it, but go on with your question.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, does that make a big difference, or how does that?
Who you talk to?
Yeah.
You think? No, it don't make no difference, Ken. Talk to anybody all day. Okay. All right. So you have mentor. Mentee. Even the mentee has mentorees, or should say this. There should be somebody that you're sharing something with that has value. All right, are we okay with this? With this so far? So how many levels are you seeing right there? All right, that's 3 levels. The mentee can also have peers. You say peers are like walking partners, Tracy. You get together and you just say, hey, let's go walking. This is your walking group. This is, I'm just using this term loosely. This is your walking group. What you all have in common is you like walking. So, and that's what you're focusing on. That's what you're really focusing on. Now, if somebody was teaching you how to walk, that makes them this. Are you noticing the distinction between the two? Because they are pouring into you to show you how to do something. But when you're just saying, this is what we're doing, then that makes them a peer. So let me stop to see, are you understanding what I mean by peer? What am I saying a peer is? But don't say walking partner. They can use that one. So what am I mean by peer?
On the same level as you are.
But you have relationship. And remember, the key thing is relationship for common goals. So you want to say common goals. You have a lot of things in common. It's common goals. That's what allows that. All right, so this person should have a mentor. So now, how many levels are we talking about? 5. 5. Take a look. Peers is a level. So you've left that one off, right? Peers is a level as well. That is a level of your personhood. That still is. So you got these 5 different things that are going on that should be going on at the same time, until what starts to happen is, when it is right, even the mentorees, you see how many generations this start to become. They too, as long as this is happening, they find themselves doing the same thing. They find themselves doing that. And that's the reason why this can't ever stop. This can't ever stop. All right. How do you explain this to somebody? So let me ask you all this. I'm going to stop and I'm going to listen. How do you explain that to somebody? How do you explain what I'm showing you all now?
We never stop learning.
All right. I want you to listen. What is my question?
I explained it to somebody.
Right. Now do you see what I mean? Not saying what you said was not right, but how do you explain this?
I would explain.
Because what you should do is write this down to be able to help somebody else when you talk to them about why and how you do what you do, to be able to write this down and say, this is how my life is lived. It protects me, it protects my interests, It helps the people that I'm around, and it helps all of us be better. How do you explain that?
I would explain it to whomever.
Well, I'll come up here and explain it.
Why you gonna call me out like that?
Because you just said you would explain it, so that's what's coming up here and explain it.
Okay, I will do that. Here we go. Got 5 things here that he pointed out, but I would explain it. Okay, for instance, I got peers, and we all have common goals, just common goals. But to go further, I would explain to my peers.
No, we're going to explain it. Now you're explaining it now.
Okay,
Okay, go on and explain it.
that we have our peers have common goals, but my peers should have a mentor just like me. I would tell them, I have a mentor. I would say to my peers, in which what we have in common of our common goals, you should have a mentor.
Hold on, that's not what I said. I want you to notice I never said that, right? Are you all following what I'm saying? I never said that, right? Help me out. I'm just asking that. Did I say that? No. Did I say that the peers should have a mentor?
Yeah.
Did I say that the peers should have a mentor? No, we don't want you to do that one. All right. I explained what peers are, but I did not say that the peers should have mentors. Now you see how, and this is no reflection on you, because you heard Tracy said the assumption would be that would be yes, but that's not what was communicated.
He only said that the mentor has a mentor.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
But I'm just showing you how this is back again to when we say when a message starts, how it changes. Because everyone would think, well, shouldn't the peers have mentors? We're not even talking about them like that.
Because he actually has the arrows pointing the levels, and they go up as far as having a mentor. The mentee needs one.
Keep talking this out. Keep talking this out. Is this complicated? Honestly, just say, is this complicated or is it confusing? It's okay. We're talking through this for you to understand how to arrange your life. Now, this is for all of us now, not just them. They just diving into it. But when you say that,
well, that's how I would explain it. If I
okay,
was explaining it to my children, with me being a mentee, and I would explain as even though I'm your superior or I'm someone that you're learning from, I'm always have a teacher, and my teacher is always going to have a teacher. So we're always learning. And like you stated, we didn't discuss our peers having a mentor, but with our peers being on the same level, with my peers being on the same level as me as a mentee, I would be pouring into them. So we would all kind of be on the same level, kind of connected to my mentor, even though I'm reporting to the mentor.
All right, hold on. We're gonna break you right there. Because now you said you'd be pouring into your peers.
Well, sharing.
No, keep it over there, Duane. Let her have it. We got to keep working through it. Yeah.
Sharing. I mean, we're on the same. Well, okay, I get what you're saying, because if they're my peers, we would be already on the common goal level of the same knowledge of where I'm at or where we're at together.
What brings us together?
Yes. So we're already be there.
Are our common goals.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what brings us together.
Am I able to give the mic back?
No, because no, and the reason is because you changed some terms when you start saying, you said teacher, student, and that. When remember what the original question is, how do you explain what's up here?
And I was saying I would have changed the words. Well, I use my example as if I was speaking with my children.
I understand that.
Yes, sir.
I'm asking you to speak to your children based on what you
What's
said.
up here?
Yes.
So
you see how the tide changes?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So using the terminology up here, I would explain to my children, as me being a mentee and my peers that they see around me, we also are still learning from our mentor above us. And
hold on. Slow down. Peers are directly across from the mentee, which does not mean that those peers have the same mentor. You see how this goes?
Yes, sir.
It's just helping us to really work through all of this. You see how this is how you can see and you could go down and create something. Again, this is not pointing anybody out, but it's helping us to know how we focus on things. Because we were very clear to not even suggest about a mentor being involved in the lives of the peer. We were showing what makes them a peer. See how it changes everything? All right, keep going. Now you see why that passage in Deuteronomy says, write it down, post it over here, look it over here, do this, make sure, because if we don't, we'll end up communicating, and it could be good information, but it might not come together in a way that they could go tell it. All right, keep going. You just happen to have the mic in your hand. You just beat somebody else to it. So go on.
So that I don't know where to go after that right now.
It's okay. That's okay.
I need to keep looking when we're breaking, when I'm speaking and I'm adding in my peers, and when you stop me, you gave me something else to kind of try to focus on and make sure that I'm saying the right thing.
Now you see how challenging this is.
Yes, sir.
Have you noticed why some of the rest of them are quiet, not saying anything? Because they didn't want to, like you just did. They didn't want to be stopped.
No, but it's okay. It's okay.
No, I understand it. I
Yes, sir.
correct. It's just saying to you how they like, no, I'm not gonna say anything because they ain't gonna put me out there like that. I heard. But it challenges you to think about, okay, when you look at it, is it complicated when you look at it, or is it because we're not accustomed to it? Because these are not the things that we end up talking about. Now, there are some clearly identified peers that I have. And it stays there. It was never anything other than that. All right. My saying that, what does that tell you about how somebody potentially becomes a peer?
Common goals plays a major part in the peer roles.
So if you go about doing what you're doing for all the right reasons and in the right way, you'll find yourself getting connected to people with common goals. You don't ever have to search for peers. They are discovered while you're doing what. That's how it happens. That's how peers come as a result. Have you ever noticed that somebody you may have met for the first time, you're able to talk to them like you've known them forever? And the conversation just keeps going because there was this slot or this spot where this connection was, and you could just keep on talking and keep on talking. That's what a peer relationship is like. All right, so let me ask, do you have any questions about this? You may want to, so we can, before we add something else to this.
Can a peer be an ex-mentor?
Based on the definition, I'm going to ask you that question.
No.
Okay, all right, now you got it.
So your peer, and from looking at this chart, it says no, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Can your peer give you some knowledge. From that chart, it says no.
I'm going to let you answer that question.
I already answered it.
They can give you some support. They can give you some support
They can give you support. Okay.
only because if they step outside of the peer role, they're no longer the peer.
Okay.
You see how it goes?
Okay.
If you find yourself going to the peer for something that should be a mentor, they're not a peer. And you can't all of a sudden jump back and be a peer.
So based on that premise,
I know. Which premise are you talking
we're
about?
staying with the peer, and that if we go to a peer for information, my question would be, we're both in the class. I might not have grasped the concept. We're peers. We're just walking. And I turn to my peer and say, when we were in class, the pastor was saying so and so and so. It's part of it I'm just not getting. Can they not then give me information and still be okay?
Okay, I think you're
Wrong question.
you're splitting hairs,
Oh,
because the only thing you're really saying is you're looking for a clarification.
yes.
That's different.
Oh, okay.
Clarification is,
And they're okay.
did I hear such and such? That's clarification.
Okay.
What that clarification is on what was heard here. That's what that is. That's different.
So what would be an example of me asking a peer, a mentor type?
Okay, all right. Okay, now you just changed channels. Okay, you started out with the fact of, was it something I didn't quite get?
Correct.
And I wanted to ask them, did I hear what I hear?
Correct.
And then you sought clarification.
Yes,
Okay, so now what is your next question? Are we clear on the clarification?
I'm clear on the.
So then your next question is,
I don't know, whatever it is that hey, you answered that question. Let me ask you this question. You're here right now. I don't need to call because you got that one. I didn't understand that. You clarified.
wait. Are you role playing now? Or are you
Yes.
asking me this real question? That's what I'm trying to find out.
That's my
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to determine
I'm sorry.
where are we going. But
I'm
okay,
sorry,
but go
Karen
on.
got me. Okay. What I'm saying, that would be an example that I want a clarification. And so at that point, okay, it's clarified.
All right.
When I now have a question, and because you answered a question for me, I ask a question of that same peer. How would I know when I'm really going out the lane of a peer versus a mentor with that question?
You just answered it
I just answered mine.
because you only seek clarification. Remember, all right, let me add this word. Support, clarification, common goals. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, then that now I need you to do something. I want you all to let them answer these questions. Do they understand what we're talking about?
They thought they get it way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We're gonna see are they understanding what we're saying. That's exactly right.
What I think we're talking about is a mentor protects his peers and everyone else around him in a way where everybody's on the same level and they all have the same common goals.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay, no. That's good. That's good. Did you all hear what he said? He shrank it down for real. Okay.
No.
good job, Keith.
Yes, I do. Is it on? Okay. Guys got me nervous.
Yes, it's okay. You can't say anything wrong.
From what I got from all of this is it seems like everybody is on the same page. with the peers, the mentors, the mentees. We didn't really talk much about the last one, so it just seems like everybody is on common ground. Everybody is learning the same things. It's just they're all on the same page. That's what I got from it.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So, all right. So let me start it this way. Everybody needs this. Everybody needs a mentor. So then you have to ask, what is that? All right. So you all took a photo of this or something? Probably take your camera, take a photo so you have it, and then I mean.
Yeah, I got a question before you move on.
Okay, go on.
Does a person need more than one mentor? I would think not. Me personally. For an example,
Okay, if you saw somebody walking down the street with two heads, what would you think?
they were a freak of nature.
Okay, all right. So,
Okay.
all right. So you just
Well, okay, I
answered
just
that. How many shepherds do sheep have?
One.
Okay. So
Okay.
you're answering your question. Right?
Yeah. Well, it really ain't for me. It's just for people who don't.
No. You have to ask questions for yourself.
Well, okay. All right. Okay. I got you.
You must
Okay.
be drunk with wine, but good enough. Go on.
No, but yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. That's something I already knew, and I was going to set an example. You're my shepherd, and you happen to be my mentor as well. And I know that I don't need another mentor. But that's just me.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me just start. First of all, everyone. So I'm going to change some of this is up here. So first of all, everyone needs a mentor. All right. Follow this. All right. We good so far. Everyone needs a mentor, but every mentor needs a mentor. Say it again. No, we need to make sure we hear you.
Carrie,
He's the sound man with no mic on, but go on.
So, because Roland had asked this question earlier about the ex-mentor being a peer. So why can't the ex-mentor be a peer? I don't know if that question was answered.
Ex-mentor. Where does ex-mentor come in?
So because technically the mentor is above you.
Right.
I know you said, I think you were talking about like being stagnant and not growing. So can that make you become a peer because you're like at the same level and you're not studying to grow? So does that make you become an ex-mentor?
All right. We'll get to that.
Okay.
All right, we'll get to that. All right.
I had a question.
Yes.
So, to become a mentor, were they ever a peer?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's start with the fact that every mentor needs a mentor. So let's start there. This person is disqualified if they don't have one. Do you want to ask why do I say that? No, that's not what I just asked. Do you want to ask why I say that?
Why you say that?
Now you find it's a little bit different now. Just okay. Yes, ma'am. Oh no, all this is important.
Did you say that because if they were disqualified, they were disqualified as a mentor because they didn't have a mentor?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason why they're disqualified is you can't do what you are not. If you're not being poured into, how can you pour into? If you're not being poured into. So the first criteria for somebody even to talk about being one, there has to be evidence that a mentor is first a mentoree. All right, does that help you all? That person is first a mentoree. another way of saying it is that they're a disciple. So they're in school, they're learning, and so they are acting out what they're taught, what they're learning. Now, when a person is a mentoree, they are accountable. Or should I say they are made accountable? All right, do you understand what I mean by that? It's not some little nice little conversation. Oh, this is wonderful. You may get tagged. I mean, you might be told you're off. You don't need to be doing this. Why are you doing this? That's what accountability looks like. Because the ultimate goal of a mentor is to help to keep you aligned. I'll use this term, aligned. Aligned so that you don't wreck. And you can stay on track. All right. So you were about to say something? No, you need to write this down. Now, so we're gonna hold Gwen accountable for the notes on all of this. So you need to make sure that she's accountable for the notes on this. So she should be able to get the notes to you all on all of this. Now that doesn't mean you don't take the notes. All right. So you following it? They are aligned and help you stay on track. Now here's the other thing. If you don't have a plan or goals, there's no track to stay on. So that's the reason why whomever this person is a mentoree, and somebody, they are practicing what they're asking you to practice. They're living out what they're asking you to practice. And if that means it might be sometime they just might have to say, I can't answer that right now. I'll have to get back to you. Okay.
I had heard, I believe on the radio station that I was listening to, that the mentoree should let the mentor know what they want to be held accountable for. Is that what you meant by the plan goals? That you tell the mentor, this is what I want you to make me accountable for? Or does the mentor establish some things that the mentee should be?
So I best case scenario, it would be what you said, but if that's not the case, the conversation would lead to it being shaped out. There has to be something there, or nothing really exists. Nothing really exists. All right, we almost running out of time. It's yeah. So it's something else that we're gonna have to do. So so let me just deal with any questions you may have right now. Let me do that, so that we don't add any more right now.
So, Pastor, is it okay in explaining this that you can put into personal experience with your travel as a mentee?
All right. So, 1 Peter 3:15 literally says, "Live, then talk."
Okay.
So, you're not that quick to give examples until you've explained what you're talking about.
So let me qualify the example I'm asking. It would be transferring a journey that you were on. And I guess we're just talking about Christianity, so I'll leave that alone. I was just thinking about job, or I referee, things like that, where I've gone from starting out with a mentor and coming up the ladder.
But unless they fully understand what mentor is,
right,
the whole premise, then the examples don't have the same level of relevance. So that's the reason why when we say you want to frame this out so that they fully understand the impact, the purpose, and what's behind it, so that as you talk about, then it begins to make sense. Like yesterday, there were these 3 pastors. My getting together with them, and I thought it was going to be one. It was to provide some golf pointers to one, but he brought 2 other friends, and they all excited but I had already sent them a note. I am not playing. I'm here to provide guidance, which said I was doing this. Okay. I'm not doing this as your peer. I'm doing this to take you to another level in terms of that. And I just gave you a great example. I said, I didn't take any golf clubs. I didn't take anything. I said, I'm going strictly because you said this is what you need. So I came to focus on that level, was something that could help them go to another space. We spent about an hour or so. And after I had left them, about an hour and a half later, one of them called to say, we just left because from talking about what you had poured into us. I'm gone. Remember, I'm gone. I have left them. But they continued to talk about what was beneficial in being poured into them. So I'm painting a picture of what that looks like. It allowed them, remember, they're peers. They were all coming for the same reason, but it allowed them to have conversation about the benefit. And they then chose to use the term, we are so glad that you're mentoring us in this.
You are their mentor, and then you were gathering together as peers.
No.
Yeah, that's where I was starting to hear something different.
No.
You would.
No. Let me go
You
back.
said that.
Let me go back. I said, I did not go there as their peer. I did not go there to play. I did not take any golf clubs. And Burton had asked about helping them to improve their game. So I went strictly to provide information to make them better. They came as peers, seeking the same thing.
Okay, so then now it's muddy in my head about the concept of mentor and peers.
Unmuddy your head.
Yes.
Now unmuddy your own head.
But I need to understand.
Well, what's muddy?
What I'm saying is, at first I thought if you're a mentor, you're a mentor.
Correct.
If you have peers, you're peers. If it's your peer, you cannot pour into a peer because
Hold on.
Okay.
All right. One of y'all tell her where it broke down for her.
Yes, please. I thought I heard him say earlier that they were your peers. So that's not what you're saying.
No.
They came as peers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's a different sound. So you were a mentor the whole time.
I started out by saying, I let them know I'm not going to play. I'm not bringing any clubs. I'm going to provide some help. That was what I said. Prior to my getting there, here's why I'll be coming, which meant pouring into them.
Got that?
What they need. Not to play with them, pouring into them so they could go up to another level in that.
So, Pastor, you never played with them. That's the question I'm asking. I'm just asking the question. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I have played with one of them, but not as a peer. It was in a benefit tournament where I was expected to be the top player in this whole group anyway. That was how this person said to these other ones, I know he can help us. That's how it all went. He was seeking how to improve, and he told them he can help us. So I never entered into the space as a peer. And so it meant, no, I'm not bringing the clubs. No, I'm not coming to play with you.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that one day I may not, but under these circumstances, they need to learn. It's about learning. It's about learning. And so, you know what I did? I did a couple of demonstration shots while out there, not me playing, but just say, here's what I mean when I say this is how you do this. That literally was it. And again, they stayed talking themselves. I was gone. Hey guys, I'm gone. And again, it was about an hour and a half later. He said, hey, we just left from there. An hour and a half after I was gone. Okay, there's another question.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to make things clear, the peers came to get poured into to become a mentee and then to become a mentor.
They were peers themselves. They were peers with each other. The three of them were peers. They came to me to be mentored about golf. The three of them, they fit the criteria of walking alongside of each other, supportive of each other, all having the same goal, all wanting to get better. So they in turn came to me to say, can you help us?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the income and the outcome of it all is just to become a mentor.
Was for me to become a mentor for them.
Yeah.
That was their goal. They sought me out for that. They sought me out for that in that regard. Yeah. So I'm supposed so the reputation I'm supposed to have as it relates to golf, especially when it comes to clergy, I'm supposed to probably be the best player in this region. Okay. Or that's kind of what it would be. Oh, we need to get him on the team. I hear all the time, oh, okay, if he's on this team, then our team don't have a chance to win. I'm like, whatever, man. That's kind of the deal. So, Gwen will tell you I'm bringing trophies for stuff all the time. And I'm like, some of them I don't even pick up. Some of them I don't even pick up. So, and so then somebody may ask, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Or if somebody sees me helping somebody else, then somebody else may say, well, hey, could you help me with this? And that's kind of what that's all about. That's what that's all about. Right. So in other words, and then now, so let me just say to you about that. Although I do golf well, but there is a particular golf instructor that I go to at least twice a year myself. Are you following it? So that I don't get caught into let me use the term having a lid. So let me put this term up here so you can understand that. So that I don't have a lid. And what that lid means is I'm the end all for me. Okay.
I had a question.
Yes.
So who you go to is your mentor. What you was just saying, that's your mentor. Yes, for that. That's your mentor.
The person, this professional golfer who I go to at least twice a year.
That's your mentor.
When it comes to golf, to make sure that I'm doing what I need to be doing properly, I'll just go to say, take a look at me and tell me what are the things I need to do differently. And we just go and we'll end up just having conversation in general beyond golf, just in general, because and basically every time I go, he said, I don't even know why you're coming to me. He says, but I'm glad you came, because we just end up talking and doing that. But it's just to make sure, no, I do need to come in order to make sure that I'm not just representing me.
So
That's what you
where
do.
that comes with every mentor needs a mentor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm hearing a mentor for a specialty. Should we run
No,
that?
that's not what I'm saying.
Well, no, I'm talking about you just now. You said a
All right.
mentor.
Okay. But go on. Go on.
Okay. So my question would be, as a mentee, would I come to my mentor if I said I need X help, and that's not something that you do, that I run the concept, what I need, and then you would direct me to someone to mentor me in that specific study or whatever it is?
That would be best case scenario.
Okay. Thank you.
The reason why that would be best case scenario, because you'll start hearing multiple sounds, multiple voices. Not good. Not good. It's a single message. So let me tell you this last thing for the day, and then we'll do that. What should be happening is all the sounds that you hear about next step, decision that you make, and all of that, if they are not an echo of this, it already tells you something's wrong with it. It tells you something's wrong with it. Now, so in other words, all these other voices should be consistent with how you're being mentored. Now, here's the other thing. If you're not growing, that's where the mentor becomes a peer. Now, did you all hear that part? Okay. That's about probably where I need to leave you, is there. Because you should be challenged. They should be challenged. There should be evidence that they are growing themselves. And so I'm going to give you all a couple of minutes to think, and then I'll come back and I'll answer a couple more questions. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to talk among yourselves. Take about 5 more minutes. I'm going to give you a chance to talk among yourselves, and I'll come back and answer a couple more questions.
Just in case you need it. Now we all supposed to be hearing what each other's saying. It's open discussion. Everybody can hear. I'll give you all an example. Okay.
Where he has a line, Rick, and stay on track. Is that for the mentor? The mentor is doing that, or is the mentee doing that? The mentor. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
A wreck. Mm-hmm.
He said the ultimate goal of a mentor is to keep you aligned so that you don't become a train wreck, keep you on track. And if you don't have any plans or goals, then there's nothing they can make you accountable for.
And usually you all, at least I did, I seeked out my mentor after watching him walk, not knowing he was even a pastor. And I asked him to be my mentor. The first thing he did was make me accountable because I had to take a course, online course on the Old Testament. I took tests, all that, and was excited. Then I thought I was done. And so he followed that up with the New Testament, online, all of that. And he has continued to be the person that I go to no matter what. Now, I was asked to serve on a board at WashU. I didn't just accept it. I asked him, what did he think? He said it was a good idea, so I did it. So anything that I pass by, even if it has to do with what I may need in the field of officiating, not that he would know, but I would know he can guide me to how to seek and what to seek. Who should be the person that I'm listening to? What voices should I hear in that field? Example, real simple. If I'm striving to make it to the state finals or quarterfinals, then I need to be around somebody that's already achieved that. Okay.
And what I learned regarding mentorship, I used to be the kind of persons I would perceive the person to be a certain way, and then I would ask them to be my mentor, not really knowing whether they really had the skills I thought they had. And I would, and then I'd jump over to this person. I'd keep the first one, get another one, because, oh, they were good in this, and that's what I want to do. Oh, and then I've got this person. So I'm hearing all these different voices, but I felt that each person was so far advanced that I could learn until I found the mentor we have now. And so that's why I asked that question. It's important that everyone, and it does make sense. It sounds a little weird, but you can recognize, I learned that when you go to someone that you really feel, even now being here, that they could help to augment what we get. But I recognize they don't have the same base. They don't have the same background. And then it'll take me off track, especially if I jump and do it, then tell him after the fact. So that's why I asked that question.
And you all have another example. Most of you all know that Benny Moore is my mentor in officiating. Even though I have been on the court with him, reffing the same game, I'm still not his peer. He's my mentor. He has more experience. He can help me through some mental things that go on. He still does. So me and him never became peers. And actually in life, he's not my peer. He's my elder. And so he keeps that status regardless. So I will never be side by side with him like that. That's just my personal experience.
So if you're going to use these examples that I'm hearing you all use, can you explain them to somebody who don't know anything about what you're talking about? Who have no reference point for what you're talking about? Would they understand it? We're not going to make it easy for you. It's a standalone. No assumption can be made that anybody knows anything that you're talking about. Each interaction, you're starting from scratch.
Yeah, Pastor, I think I can do it.
No,
I don't know if I can do it standing right here
hold on.
in
No,
front of everybody.
here, this is what I mean. If you notice, I didn't use any names, did I? When I was explaining the scenario, I didn't use any names. So that nobody could, because if I use a name, then now I'm shrinking it to a space where only those who are familiar with the name can relate to it. You see how challenging this is?
Can you clarify that? Because I know everybody's saying, but
can
you clarify that for me?
You use a name.
Okay, help me out.
You use a name.
If I can help the people.
No. You use a name that if people don't know who he is, they can't relate to what you said.
So when I use pastor, I use pastor.
You're not listening. Listen to what I'm saying. It has to be communicated in a way as nobody knows anything about what you're talking about, and you're communicating to them something that can help them. without the assumption being made, you know this or you know that. You know what I mean, don't you? None of that. It has to be taking principles, communicating. That's the reason why I was asking them, did they understand what was being said? The reason why I was asking them that is like, hey, okay, what are you hearing? And then just to give the feedback. So then if you don't get the feedback, you don't know what to come back to say next. And you got to leave it almost blank in order to keep adding in, or otherwise we'll add stuff in ahead of time, taking it for granted that people already know, and they don't.
Okay, the times I've led study, and at the end of it, I always ask everybody, did they understand what was taught?
All right, now,
And they
so
say,
you want
understand.
to tell you what the problem with that is?
They weren't telling the truth.
No. You had this wide gap of information from start to finish, and then at the very end, you asking them, "Do you have any questions?"
But they was taking notes in the
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. You got this wide gap from beginning to end, and then at the end, do y'all have any questions? I might have had a question 10 minutes in, and the next 20 minutes went over my head because I missed at minute number 10. That's why I say it's ongoing in order to know. Sometimes you all probably say, well, why you keep asking me? Do you understand this? Are you getting it? It's before we can go forward, we need to make sure that you don't add something else to it. Because what'll happen is, in our humanity, we'll shake our head, yeah, I got it, and we don't have it no more than anything else. We just don't want to look like we don't have it. So we start shaking our head. Isn't that right, Ken? We just be shaking our yeah.
Information I'm giving you right now. So if I go on to another step, then you will stand all of it.
If I go to another, if you miss step 7,
right,
and I'm going on now to 8, 9, and 10, the rest of it is irrelevant to you because the dots don't connect because you're stuck on 7.
7. Okay.
That's what I mean. And it doesn't matter how great the information was, I'm still wrestling with this. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So that's what I mean by from the beginning and you all the way at the end. Y'all got some questions? Like, yeah, I wish you would have asked me a long time ago. Not supposed to do what?
That's my misunderstanding. We're going to have open discussion all throughout. Okay.
Questions of clarification.
Yes, sir. Right.
You've been told that all along.
Yeah.
To clarify.
Right.
Are there any questions? Something I need to clarify?
Right. Yeah, that's what I be.
That's been done all along the way. Yeah, but
we do that.
Yeah, but who knows what we've missed? So it's okay. It's okay. All right. The last thing I said was about the mentor becoming a peer. What did I say? You remember before I said I'd leave out and let you all talk?
Yeah, if you're not growing, right, that's when a mentor becomes a peer, when you're not growing, right?
And the reason why you're no longer growing, because they aren't growing. They aren't growing. All right. I'll stop here and we'll pick this back up next week. So if you ever find, quote, the so-called mentor is predictable and sounds the same all the time, they've already told you they flatline. They flatline. It's not party time and we do the same party. You know, the same dusted up eggs you ate the last time. That's not what it is. It should be challenging. And here's the other thing. You should not be comfortable, and I'm stopping here for sure. You should not be comfortable talking to a mentor because you can. In other words, what it means, you shouldn't come expecting it to be an easy exchange. For growth to occur, it cannot be an easy exchange. You should be pushed. There should always be something you're expected to do. Every time you talk to your mentor, there should always be something you should be doing. Always. Oh, they're not valued. They're not. You're not being pulled into, you're gagging. All right. All right, that you had something else? All right. Sister Don, you had something else before we leave?
Every exchange with mentor, every exchange.
Every exchange what now?
You said we should always, we should not be comfortable talking to the mentor because we can. There's always something you are expected to do. And then you're stressed about it being uncomfortable. So you're saying every single time?
Every time there should be something you are to do. You'll always have an assignment. Now, how many of you ever talked to me and you didn't have something to do? I'm just asking. And you don't have something to do. Okay. Okay. It don't matter. It don't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's that if you do talk to me and you're seriously about it, there'll be something you'll be expected to do. Otherwise, there's no pouring in. So I'm easy to talk to, but I'll certainly make you accountable. All right, okay, so that's all. All right, so the one, why don't you close us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you right now. We thank you for this outstanding lesson. We thank you for understanding that we have to continually be poured into, and it ultimately comes being poured into by our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. But we thank you for those that are out here, those that we can look to, those that are walking the walk, not just talking it, but walking it, Lord. We thank you for all the examples and the mentors and those that we disciple. In Jesus' name, amen.